North Dakota Democratic Senator Conrad, and Andy Stern, the former president of the Service Employees International Union and now a fellow at the Georgetown Public Policy Institute. Folks, good morning to all of you, and thank you for joining us.
Good morning. Good morning.
Senator Conrad, why don't we start things off with you? I know that you were somebody who looks very closely at fiscal responsibility, and the message from the president last night was that we are looking at a spending freeze over the next 5 years. Now, obviously, that is a start to something. Is that enough in your opinion?
No, I think we all know it's not enough. A spending freeze for 5 years is a good beginning, but much more is going to have to be done. I was very pleased that I thought the president said very positive things about the fiscal commission on which I served that came up with a plan to reduce the debt by $4 trillion over the next 10 years. He made very clear to the American people, just dealing with domestic discretionary spending, non-defense, is not going to be anywhere near enough. That's a fraction of the federal budget. We're going to have to deal with the entitlements of Social Security and Medicare. We're going to have to deal with the tax expenditures. We're going to have to deal with defense as well when you're borrowing 40 cents of every dollar you spend. So this is going to take a comprehensive approach, and it's going to be tough, and the American people need to know this problem cannot be solved if we're just going to deal with a small fraction of the budget.
Just want to go back to Senator Conrad for a second for something that you said, because we've had you on, Senator, and we know now you can speak freely. Not that you didn't before, but because you're not going to run. But you went out on a limb with the commission and voted with thumbs up. I think Mr. Stern was on the commission too, but it was the president's commission. He did mention it. But do you really feel like he took ownership and embraced his own commission? You did it. You asked for leadership from the president. The Republicans will work on Simpson-Bowles. I don't know if they're going to work with him on these investments. Less likely, perhaps. But real progress could have been made. I didn't think it was a ringing endorsement of Simpson-Bowles. Was it enough for you, honestly?
Well, I thought he said very clearly that just cutting domestic discretionary spending, non-defense, is not going to be enough. And I thought he was very specific about talking about the elements of the fiscal commission. Tax reform, you have to deal with the entitlements, especially the medical accounts, that you have to deal with tax reform. We've got to reduce the number of tax expenditures so we can broaden the base and reduce the rates to make America more competitive. Many of those themes were echoed in the president's speech, and I give him high praise for that. But the State of the Union is not a budget plan. The budget plan comes when the president puts out his budget. And I think Andy Stern was exactly right. What we need from the president and from the Congress is a plan for Team America. It is incredibly important for our country that first we get the economy growing again, and then we pivot and focus like a laser on bringing down this deficit and bringing down this debt. Otherwise, America is not going to be competitive in this world. So we got to face up to this. The president's part of it, but Congress is part of it as well. And it is time. It is time now for us to get a plan.
We'll get a final word from you, Senator Conrad, as someone who's going to say goodbye to the chamber not too long from now. Are you convinced this can get done in the next few months? And how dirty, how ugly is it going to be?
Look, first of all, I want to say that after working with Andy Stern for 9 months on the commission, he's not somebody that's an advocate of central planning. I think what Andy was talking about, in fairness to him, was that about 20% of our economy is represented by the government. That's been true whether it's Republicans in power or Democrats in power. You go back for decades, the federal government has been a little below 20% of the economic activity of the country. And the question is that 20% used in a way that helps make America more competitive, that helps America grow economically? And I think all of us know if that 20% is going to be wisely used, we've got to defend America. We've got to have a system that educates our children. That is a government responsibility, as well as a family responsibility. We've got to have better infrastructure so we can compete effectively. I think that's what he was talking about with respect to a plan. You asked me, can this get done? Of course it can get done. America has always stood up and succeeded at a time of challenge. The problem, frankly, right now is the American people don't believe that we need to do the things that are required. If you poll the American people, they say, yes, we want to get the debt under control, but we don't want to touch Social Security. We don't want to touch Medicare. We don't want to touch revenue. We don't want to cut defense. You know, pretty soon you can't do anything. So there needs to be leadership to help the American people understand when you're borrowing 40 cents of every dollar you spend, it is going to take real, bold steps to get this animal under control. And if we don't, America is headed for a less vibrant future, one with a lower economic growth, less opportunity for our kids. So we can do this. We've done much tougher things before. We need leadership, and we need to get started.
Very good. I'll give you the last word, Senator Conrad. Thank you. Alice Rivlin, Senators Bob Corker, Senator Conrad, Andy Stern. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.